My name is Suzette Ranchran, and I am the Vice President of Corporate Development for Nighthawk Gold Corp, and I'll be walking you through our corporate presentation for today. Please note that I will be making statements which are regarded as forward-looking information, so I refer you to slides 2 and 3 for our cautionary language. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the story, Nighthawk has a vision of developing Canada's next gold camp. We've consolidated what we believe to be a top-tier gold district, and over the course of the next 2 years, we'd like to conduct innovative and effective exploration. We remain firmly committed to operating safely and respecting the environment, as well as our surrounding Indigenous communities. Our assets are located in the Northwest Territories of Canada. This is the Arctic. We're sandwiched between Nunavut to the east and the Yukon to the west. The NWT is probably best known for the diamond mining, but it does have a history of gold exploration and production. In fact, our flagship asset, Colomac, was a past-producing open-pit gold mine, which ceased operations at the end of the 1990s. In the map on the right-hand side, you can see our position relative to Yellowknife. Yellowknife is the capital of the NWT. It's also a mining hub with well-established consultants and services that support the resource sector. We have access to site all year round via a 5,000-foot airstrip. It's about a 40-minute fixed-wing flight from Yellowknife to Colomac. As well, we do have access by a series of ice roads that are put in by the territorial government on an annual basis, and you can see those in the green line. One of the nice things about the NWT is they've been very vocal in their support of the resource sector and their push for infrastructure development. They have a number of proposed road builds, and these have a focus of, number one, connecting the Indigenous communities, and number two, supporting the resource sector and resource development within the territory. So that dash line you see next to the green ice road coming from Bichoko, going up to Wati, that's an all-season road build. It started construction in 2019 and is expected to be completed at some time this year. That'll get us that much closer to our site. But one of the nice things is in the end of the 1990s, when the operators of Colomac, they went into bankruptcy, there weren't as many bonding around at that time. So the Colomac site actually fell into the hands of the federal government to conduct the reclamation work. They calculated that the waste rock on site was benign and could provide upwards of 100 kilometers of road aggregate. So we'd have all the road bed to complete that road build through our property and over to the community of Wikweti. Another nice thing that the NWT have talked about is power improvements. And you'll see on that map the Snare River Rapids Power Station that powers Yellowknife. There is talks of expanding that. And again, if a road comes, we think the power would be shortly behind. So these are some nice synergies that we have developing within our area that I think speak to the fact that we're remote, but we're not that remote. Nighthawk is very lucky to have a supportive shareholder base. About 40% of the company is controlled by 3 major players. Northfield Capital Corporation sits at 20%. Kinross Gold Corporation, they entered the company in 2016 and have maintained their pro rata investment sitting at just under 10%. And Osisko Development Corp sitting at 9%. That was an initial investment in 2012 by Osisko Mining and then got rolled over to Osisko Royalties, which then spun out and is now sitting in Osisko Development. Management and insiders hold about 5%, and then the other is made up between retail and institutional. January 1st this year, we announced some changes to the management team. Keyvan Salehi was appointed as the new president and CEO. Keyvan is a professional mining engineer with MBA. He has 20 plus years of industry experience. He started his career with FNX Mining and Lakeshore Gold. He then held the position of Vice President Corporate Development with St. Andrew Goldfields and then with Kirkland Gold after the acquisition with St. Andrew Goldfields. But he was most recently working with Mountain Province Diamonds, providing operational and technical oversight for their jointly operated 12,000 ton per day diamond mine in the NWT. So he has extensive experience developing and operating in the territory, which was key for us. Our new VP of Exploration, Richard Roy, is a professional geologist and brings 30 plus years of industry experience with him. He spent about 11 years with Semafo, focused on target selection, and was part of their acquisition team looking at grassroots to late stage level projects. In fact, the Indin Lake Gold property was one project which he did have the opportunity to look at while at Semafo. During Richard's career, he has contributed to the discovery of more than 10 different deposits, 5 of which have reached production. We're very happy to have the expertise of Richard on board. And last but certainly not least, we've added Denise Lockett as our Manager of Stakeholder Relations and Permitting. Denise has 25 plus years of industry experience. She spent a number of years in the NWT. She was an active member of the NWT and Nunavut Chamber of Mines, and is a past president of the NWT Chamber of Commerce. She's well versed in the licensing and permitting within the territory, so she'll be an excellent addition to the team as we advance our plans and aggressively increase our exploration efforts. The remainder of the team stays the same. Michael Leskovic is our CFO. He's a professional CPA. And myself, I'm the VP of Corporate Development with 20 plus years of industry experience. I have worked with exploration, development, and producing companies, and was most recently with Kirkland Lake Gold before I joined Nighthawk in 2017. Our board of directors are also have an excellent expertise covering capital markets, finance, mining engineering, geology, and political expertise as well. One of the things we talk about internally as a management team is what attracted us to the story, and the one thing that keeps popping up for all of us is the size and the quality of the land position. We've said this before, we control 95% of the Indin Lake Greenstone Belt, and you can see our property outline in the map to the right. But this is a Archean gold camp. So same age of rock as your more pronounced or well-known gold camps, such as Timmins, Red Lake, Kirkland Lake. It just hasn't seen the same level of exploration. Those other camps have been around for 100 plus years and have seen extensive exploration. This area has not, and probably because of its jurisdiction, it was harder to get to back in the day when the old timers were doing prospecting, but it has all of the same characteristics. So again, same age of rock. We've got a variety of deposit settings. We knew about Colomac, which was a past producer, and then we had all these other snippets of high-grade deposits, like the Damati Lake deposit, which is where we actually started in 2008. Number of surface showings. Everything is really, if it's brittle, it's hosting gold. So we thought that this would be a good area to set up shop in order to conduct our vision, which again is developing Canada's next gold camp. Now, with an exploration package of this size, we're talking 930 square kilometers or 92,000 hectares. And to put that in perspective, that's 3 times the size of the Timmins camp, or just about the size of Hong Kong. We know we really need aggressive exploration in order to advance all of these targets. So we're looking at hopefully achieving about 200,000 meters of drilling over the next 24 months. And that's in an effort to substantially increase the global resource base. We've put out a resource update today, March 1st, outlining the global resource base of 2.3 million ounces of indicated, plus an additional 800,000 ounces of inferred resources. Looking at that resource update in comparison to the 2020 mineral resource update, we've increased the indicated ounces by 35%. And of that 35% increase, we now have 71% increase to the open pit resources. And we'll talk about our exploration strategy in a bit, but we're focusing on the near surface mineralization that we have available to us. And again, a 60% increase to the inferred resources, taking us to the 800,000 ounces. Majority of the work to date has been focused at our Colomac deposit. And when we acquired Colomac in 2012, we saw this as a residual opportunity where we could build ounces quite quickly. And so a lot of the exploration meters has been focused on Colomac year over year. And what we've delineated is the current resource of 2.1 million ounces of indicated resources at a grade of 1.83 grams per ton, with an additional 600,000 ounces of inferred resources at a grade of 1.96 grams per ton. There's lots of room for expansion here, both along strike and to depth. This is the 2020 mineral resource outline. We do not have the long section updated as yet. What you would see for the 2021 would be a change in the whittle shells for the pits as we've moved more of the ounces into the open pit scenario. And that really ties in with our overall vision. We're going to be focusing on optimizing the near surface resource growth opportunities here at Colomac. And then tying into that vision, where we talk about the 2-year goals of substantially increasing the global resource base, we have 3 main objectives, which is the resource expansion opportunity, so expanding the current in-pit resources at Colomac, like we previously spoke about, as well as the other deposits within that Coloma Center. We're looking at greenfield exploration, so we're looking to identify new near-surface mineralization within probably a 15 to 20 kilometer radius of that Colomac main deposit. And then with all the other targets that we have on board, we're going to do target assessment. So we're going to identify, expand, and include any known targets that we think can contribute to the global resource base of the company. Zooming in on the Coloma Center, there are 5 deposits that make up this area. The Colomac main deposit, the Goldcrest deposit, which is a sister sill that sits to the west of Colomac main, the Grizzly Bear deposit, which is a different type of mineralization, but it's brittle and hosting gold, and the same with the 24 and 27 zones, which are further to the east. These are wide zones of near-surface mineralization. There's no royalties on the property. Preliminary metallurgical test work has returned excellent recoveries of up to 98% on conventional gold recovery techniques. Another area that we're going to focus on for resource expansion is within the recently optioned property, the Kim and Cass property, and this is focusing on the Cass zone. Cass has a historical non-compliant resource of about 250 to 300,000 ounces at grades of plus 2.5 grams per ton. So this is an area that we'd like to focus efforts on. We had an option on this property previously, and in 2014, our drilling was successful in extending this zone an additional 700 meters further to the northeast and to the southwest. This lines up with our albatross target, which I'll talk about later on. But this is a key area for us as we look to expand resources and as we look at some of the greenfield target opportunities as well. So we've split out the greenfield targets into various sections of the land position. So in the northern hemisphere, the northern targets we're looking at is the Lori Lake target and the JPK target. These 2 targets lie within a 7-kilometer mineralized corridor that we refer to as the Treasure Island Lori Lake mineralized corridor. Both areas we've seen very successful and promising surface sampling, but neither have been drilled by Nighthawk. So we're looking to put some meters into these 2 targets this year. Within the central area of the land position, we're really focusing on that Colomac Center. One area that we're very interested in getting some exploration drilling meters into is the Nice Lake Sill. These are parallel Colomac-like sills about less than a kilometer to the east of Colomac. There are grab samples from surface sampling that returned up to 41.9 grams per ton. So a really prospective area for us, and we'd like to provide a first pass, complete lithological and geochemical understanding of this area this year. 24 and 27, we're looking at the southern extension of these mineralized zones for additional in-pit resources over a strike length of about 1 kilometer. Grizzly Bear, we're looking at the northern extent of this deposit and exploring the link between Grizzly Bear and the Goldcrest Sill. And then Colomac further to the south, there's 2 additional kilometers south of that 7-kilometer strike length that we looked at previously, and we'd like to test the potential of folding of favorable mafic sills that's based on the geophysical signature this year. So this area has never been drill tested, and we're looking to put some meters into that this year. And then on the southern part of the land position, we have 2 additional targets. Indin Lake was discovered in 2016 during our prospecting program. Again, really good surface sampling results, up to 42.8 grams per ton. Never seen a drill hole yet, so we'll be putting some meters into this. And again, that albatross target, which is really the western extension of the Cass zone. And we're going to look at this on a blown up scale. So this is a mag signature of the area. You can see some surface sampling of the Cass deposit further to the right. And then what we found within the albatross target itself. It's 4.3 kilometers long of a folded faulted magnetic trend. But if we take the albatross trend and include the Kim and Cass properties, that's an 8-kilometer favorable trend and could really be a game changer for us. So this is an exciting target that we're looking at drilling this year. And to summarize all that, we've put sort of the high level targets on this page. You know, if we've got A to J identified here, if we were to put all of the targets that we have, you know, known showings and deposits and whatnot on this map, it would really probably go A to Z. But, you know, in terms of supporting what our 2-year goals and objectives are, these are the targets that you're likely going to see news flow coming out of this year. And this is one of the reasons why we're very happy to have Richard as part of the team as our VP of Exploration. His expertise in assessing and prioritizing targets is going to be key for us. He's currently continuing that work. We've identified these targets for drilling over the next 2 years, but of course, it's going to be dependent on success, how we move things around. So Richard's expertise in helping us prioritize and keep moving things up and down that value chain in support of what the company goals are is very key for us. And there's been a lot of repetition in this presentation, and that's done for a reason, because there are really 3 main takeaways that you should remember when you're thinking about Nighthawk Gold. First and foremost is the size and the quality of our land position. When we put this together and we decided to consolidate the land position, what we saw was we were putting together what we thought was a robust asset base for a discovery challenged industry. You don't really see quality and sizable land positions like this every day. And so we really need to focus our attention over the next couple of years, and that ties into our aggressive 2-year plan, in order to really illustrate the camp-like nature of what we have. And the goal here is to look for near surface, higher grade mineralization, which would nicely augment what we have at Colomac, which in an effort to substantially grow that global resource base. We think we've got the right team to do it, and we've got long-term supportive shareholders that are backing us every step of the way. I'd just like to close on this slide to remind everyone, you know, we put together this mission statement earlier this year, and we really want to ensure that, you know, we strive to maintain these core values in everything that we do. We're focused on people, fostering, mentoring, and ensuring our people are taken care of, that we operate safely, that we respect the environment, and we do things in a sustainable manner. And honestly, this team is very keen on looking at new and unique ways of doing things. We strive for innovation and excellence in everything that we do. And we think all of these things combined, in conjunction with the quality of the assets that we have and the aggressive plans to exploit them, that we'll be able to build shareholder value as we go. So I'd like to thank you for your time, and we look forward to meeting with you at the one-to-one conference this week.